Good morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a little Bible study. I thought of doing it with a real format, but I figured it's gonna be so long. I already tried, and I saw that what I have to say, what I want to say, is going to be longer than a reel. So I decided to do it here on YouTube with a long format. So, the mini series of Bible study that I wanted to start is about women in the Bible. And I wanted to start with the book of Ruth. So, today we are going to go through the chapter 1 of Ruth, and then next one will be chapter 2, and so on. And we will tackle other books in the Bible. So, context: the book of Ruth is about Ruth, but it starts with Naomi, Ruth's mother in law, who has lost both her sons and her husband. And now she's feeling very disoriented, discouraged, and she has decided to leave the place where she was living with her family to go back um, to her town, her own town, which is Bethlehem. And so she told her daughter in laws to go back to their parents' house because she has nothing to offer them anymore because she has no more sons. And Ruth, which is one of her daughter in laws, decides to stay with Naomi no matter what. So she told Naomi, "No, I am not going back to my parents' house. I'm staying with you." And that's how the story starts. So in chapter 1, I have my little notes here. So in chapter 1, we can see three characteristics through Ruth's character. First one is faithfulness, second one is courage, and the third one is obedience. We see Ruth's faithfulness when Ruth chooses to stay with Naomi, even if the circumstances are not looking great right now. She herself is going through a dark season because she has lost her husband too, and she's feeling lost. But she decides to stay anyway because she knows that that's where my place is. That's where God called me to be. So I will stay here. So her faithfulness is not only towards Naomi, but also towards God. She's also showing courage because by choosing to stay and leave with Naomi to Bethlehem, she is actually choosing the unknown instead of going back to the familiar, which would be her parents' house. And also, she is showing obedience because right now she is not seeing anything positive in what's going on. She is not seeing anything for her in all of this, but she chooses to obey God because, as you can see, Naomi didn't want her to come. So she's not being obedient to Naomi or someone else. She's being obedient to God because you can see that she has a conviction. She feels convicted to go with Naomi. And even though Naomi is was trying to convince her not to come with her, but she said, "No, I will come." So this is pure obedience. So, guys, sometimes we need to stop asking questions. We need to stop trying to understand things, trying to stop trying to make sense out of situations. And when you feel that the Holy Spirit is telling you to take a decision or to move or to go, whatever it is, you just need to obey and stop overthinking it. And also, most importantly, don't let influences from outside get to you. Because People will try to convince you, people will keep you from your blessings because they don't see what God sees. And even you may not see what God sees, and you may not understand what God understands, but you just know you have to obey. But them, they don't see it because they don't have that conviction for you. They're just seeing the circumstances, and out of love, they will try to convince you not to take that decision. And that's where you have to let discernment play, play its role. You have to know that, okay, I know you are telling me not to do that out of love because you are not seeing the bigger picture. Even me, I might not be seeing it, but I just know that the Holy Spirit is telling me to go in this direction. And when you obey, you will automatically start seeing God's provision. Because just as the word says in verse 22, let me read it for you. It says, so Naomi returned from Moab, accompanied by Ruth, the Moabite, her daughter in law, arriving in Bethlehem as the barley harvest was beginning. So that verse says it all. Okay? It says it all. It shows God's perfect timing and God's divine provision. So they're leaving, they have nothing, they have nothing left. They both have lost their husbands. Naomi has lost both her son and husband. So they have nothing left. They're just making a move by faith, both of them. And you see that just because they chose faith instead of fear, already you can see God's provision. They are actually entering a season of harvest that they didn't have to plant for, because the word says that they are arriving just as the harvest is beginning. So they were not here when planting season was happening. They are just coming, and they're arriving in the harvest season. And that's how God works, honey. He will bring you into seasons that you didn't even imagine of walking into. So the ladies are walking into a provision they didn't have to work for, they didn't have to plant for. And that's how big God's promises are. So you just have to walk by faith and obedience. Don't overthink it. When you feel that conviction, it is the Holy Spirit. And when you know that you know that you know, just take the decision and let God bless you. Because when you choose to overthink things, you delay God's promises. So you miss God's perfect timing. And that's how God's perfect timing works. You enter seasons that you didn't even imagine walking into. Guys, I hope that this little word blessed you today, and have a great week, and may God bless you.